Hey everyone, Lisa Finkel from Finkel Pottery in Prince Edward Island, Canada, coming to you today with a disaster of a kiln unload. My kiln just had new elements put in and a new thermocouple, so it's pretty cocky. And normally my schedule takes 11 hours to fire, roughly the slow cool schedule I use, and it went 15. And I knew at the time that there was a problem, and I didn't use cones because I was cocky. And I don't use cones every time. And anywho, so we all know that heat work over time. I don't think the kiln went over the 2190 I had it programmed to, but because it went so long at that sort of top high temperatures, things overfired. So I got a lot of running, some bubbling. It happens with pottery. So today my son is going to change the relays. And the only thing we could do after that would be the plug looks great. So I'm trying to avoid calling an electrician. So we're going to try changing the relays, and then if that doesn't work, maybe the wiring needs to be changed. But of course, right in busy season, shit happens. Anywho, a few pieces did turn out nicely, and some of them I can't even figure out what's on them because they got so dark in the overfiring. So this one is one of my little cheese ball dishes, and it is Spectrum floating blue with my studio green here, but the green pretty well burnt out, and the floating blue pretty well burnt out too. So that one did not like the heat. This one is Spectrum purple, textured purple. Is that what it's called? I forget. Anyway, and then it had some alabaster here with the purple, and then purple inside. And it too, look at that alabaster, like basically ran right off the pot and burnt out. So it did not like the heat. This one I'm pretty pleased with. It was a little tester vase. I have a couple of them. And I wanted to try, this is Tucker's Speckled White, but it looks like it even bloated a little bit. Lordy. And it was I made a new white slip with Raven's Craig. Very simple recipe with some Spectrum cactus on top. So even that green is pretty light, but I do like this effect because the speckles, I was trying to look for an effect that would be similar to River Birch, but obviously it did not like the heat. So there's some little bumps. It's just a little mini vase, so it doesn't really matter, but this would be Spectrum Pearl White. So that one, it seemed to handle the heat okay. Here's another Pearl White with just my Studio Cranberry. And look how much that burnt out too. I mean, some of the effects are interesting, but not what I was going for. So this is another Pearl White. And it's on dark clay, so it's unfortunate that the load that did overfire has a lot of dark clay in it, which probably doesn't love the heat as much as even sometimes the white clay. But check out this one. Oh. Some of these I'm probably going to attempt to refire at a lower temp, and I might even try an upside down firing in this one if I can get it to balance, just to get it to flow down this way. And really, I think this is that Raven's Craig White and the cactus, Spectrum cactus on top. As I said, on some of them I'm guessing because they burnt out so much. This one bubbled, and it's the Spectrum purple with the textured purple and the alabaster on the bottom. So really lost its color. This one is my Cranberry with Spectrum Sangria on the top with a little overlap and a lot of bubbling. So being honest with you guys, they're not always beautiful kiln unloads. This one's Sangria with alabaster, and it turned out okay. There's not any bubbling on it. Certainly not as vibrant as I was hoping, because really these Spectrum glazes, they sing on dark clay if they're not overfired. So this is my first time using cactus, Spectrum cactus. And look at that on dark clay. Isn't that pretty? And this was alabaster with the cactus. But that turned out lovely. And it handled the heat, which was nice. And here's another one in the cactus with the cheese ball bowls. Look how that just breaks so nicely. That's so pretty. So those I'm happy with. There's a few things I'm happy with. These would be Spectrum Sangria. I mean, check that out on the dark clay. And this would be my studio Cranberry. So what happens when the sangria hits the studio Cranberry, there's like usually a white line. It's just a glaze reaction. But because it got so hot, that white went all the way down. So here's another sangria. But so pretty on dark clay. Loving it. So I'm not going to let this discourage me. I just got to get the kiln going again, and we'll be all set. So this was winter wood all over, and then a little dip in Laguna Power Turquoise. And I may refire and just add a little flux, I'm not sure. And then it's just got a little bottom. So it's just a little planter, holes in the bottom. And then I made another planter right here. You notice I'm not outside today. Winter has hit. I'm not going to be unloading kilns live anymore. They'll be coming into the studio, and then I'll show you what came out. Here's another example of overfiring, look. And then bubbling. And this would be the soft red with the winter wood, which usually works grand, but I don't think it liked the heat. So this one, I may attempt to refire, but it ran so much, I'm not sure. I'll have to see. And I have this cute little picture. Same issue. Sometimes, you know, the kiln gods just are not with you. Okay, so this one is dipped in Norse blue. Ran a bit with just a little cloud on it. And I bought some new dipping Norse blue, and it was too thick at first, so I thinned it. But on a couple of them, it just ran off because it was too thick. Just not in the groove. Here's one that it got really uneven and ran off. That one I may try to refire upside down or something. We'll see. This one is the cactus with the alabaster. And normally the alabaster in this would be like creamy with a little of the clay showing through, but so much of it burned off in this firing. Not even sure what this is, to tell you the honest to God truth. Alabaster, of course, on the bottom. I don't know, it might be floating blue, maybe. Or it might be soft blue. I did get some Spectrum soft blue. And actually, now that I think about it, this is either soft aqua or soft blue. Maybe it's soft aqua, which is a beautiful glaze, I think, when it's not overfired. And it was my first time trying it, so I'll try it again once I get the kiln sorted out. And this one would be sangria, I believe. Or I think what this one is a tiny bit of sangria on the rim and then some purple over that Spectrum with the alabaster on the bottom. So this bowl turned out pretty though. This is pearl white in Spectrum and then pearl white on the rim. And this is just a little spoon holder. And this was textured kiwi fruit on the rim, but it burnt into like this weird bluish color with a little bunny rabbit. And this is just Emiko Mixing Clear over a Ceramica transfer. So there's that. And this one I think is Spectrum Floating Blue. So that one turned out fine. A little bit dark, but still fine. Here's another spoon holder, and it's nice and smooth. It's got a little dust on it, but it's okay. with textured kiwi. This is Spectrum. Good Lord, I cannot remember the name of that purple. Is it Floating Purple? Oh, I'll put it in on the comments. So that one turned out really pretty. That was kind of what I was imagining all the purple would come out like. But that did not work. Don't need to show you more of the, oh, this will give you an example of, this is one that did not overfire with the purple and the alabaster. This is one that did. So quite a difference, eh? This was a refire. It had green tea on the bottom and it had a glaze on the top I did not like. So I just dipped it in blue and then put some olive float over it. And it's really pretty. I might try to recreate that at some point. And then it had texture cascade in the middle. Spectrum texture. So it ran like a son of a gun too. There's not a lot of successes I can show you in this one. This one though turned out nicely. This is Amico Deep Sienna Speckle all the way up, and then just about an inch of 3 coats of seaweed. But even the seaweed got a little bluey in parts, but overall, I mean, the glaze handled the heat really, really nicely. So that was good. Hey y'all, I just thought I'd show you this little tidbit. I read a lot about people asking how do you refire pottery and add glaze to an already glazed piece. I watched a really good video from John Britt, and he says don't worry about hairspray or any of that kind of stuff. Just glaze it and walk away, let it dry, and build up a few layers that way. So I have to refire this mug, and I didn't like the top of it. So this is a dip in my Studio Blue, and I just balanced it on a big underglaze bottle. And when it's dry, I'm going to add a coat of, I think, olive float over the top of that. So much easier than hairspray and all that kind of stuff. The other thing is, if you pull a piece out of the kiln and you know right away, and it's still warm, and you know right away it's like, oh man, that's a refire, and you need to add some glaze, that's the time to do it, because the heat that's retained in the pottery will help dry that glaze for you. Anyway, just a little reglaze hint in the middle of all this. My firing before this one was not good, and the first part of the video you'll see, I think probably well over cone 7. Things were overfired, colors were burnt out, things bubbled, you'll see it all. Anyway, happy news. So the only thing left to change was the relays. So my son went in and switched out the relays, and I always keep a set of everything as a backup because it takes weeks. I live in PEI, Prince Edward Island. We do not have a pottery supply place anywhere near us. So I always keep those things on hand because things always happen at the worst time, like it did this month, second time the kiln. So my son went in and changed the relays, but he also, when he did that, he noticed one of the wires was fried. So that was probably the issue. It probably wasn't the relays. So the kiln didn't go over temp, but it ran a long time. So I did refire some stuff, and it may get 1/3 refire, I don't know, but I don't care because the kiln worked perfectly. So if I have to throw out a few pieces, you know, that's the way she goes. So this is, and you've already seen, you know how this looked before. So the pinholes are gone, so that's the good news. Bad news is it's really splotchy. So I think I might give these one more attempt and maybe do a coat of winterwood over that, because this is alabaster, but it's just been fired so freaking much it's looking like a disaster. So but all these pinholes that were up here are gone now, which is lovely, because sometimes when you refire, it does not solve your pinholing issue. Sometimes it can get worse, especially on a dark clay, and this is a dark clay with grog. But luckily the pinholes are all gone. So I think I'm going to be brave enough to maybe try one more fire. But you know, this was a pretty successful refiring because it was not doing well, and I'm happy with that. Norse blue on this, and Amico satin white on the cloud. The satins, the Amico satins, are a lot like the Celadons. They're very stiff. So you can put things like little faces on things and they don't move. I mean, they could, but this is just designer liner, thinned down and used as an underglaze on top of the satin white. So it didn't move at all. This refired beautifully, except I had it on a stilt and it bumped into another piece. And there's just a little spot here. So I don't think I want to refire this a third time. Winterwood can get a little finicky if you give it too much heat. So I think I'm just going to grind that a little bit and I'll sell it as a second. No problem. Here's another one that I refired on a stilt. And interestingly, there was this bubbling down below because this was winterwood. And I thought, well, if I put it on a stilt, it'll smooth out, but it just kind of got bumpy. So I'll sell this one as a second too. And I totally forget what colors are on this now because it's been fired so much. But the mug I just showed you and this jug, which refired beautifully, were winterwood on the bottom and soft red, Spectrum soft red on the top. So, you know, they don't look the same as they normally do, but they look really good. So I'm really happy that this was one that was saved in the refire. So that's it for the refires, I think. Yeah. So one of the things I'm really excited about are I'm just starting to play with Spectrum glazes. And there's some really pretty ones. And one of the things I like about their glazes are if you're working with dark clays or darker clays, like medium. This is a medium brown from Tucker's. Do I have the number? I don't, but I could put it on after. So this is a grogged red stoneware. And I use these as testers. I'm making a dinner set for my daughter for Christmas. So this is autumn purple on the dark. Like, how pretty is that? And see how it's breaking on the dark? Nice and smooth. And it's very subtle, the purple. So this is the other one that I did. This one I did a test as, I haven't decided if I'm going to leave raw clay on the bottoms of the bowls and the plates, or if I want to do a little rim of alabaster. So I didn't put nearly enough alabaster, obviously. So I'm still debating on that, but that turned out beautifully. So I have some plates and stuff I have to glaze, and I can do that now that I know how that worked out. Here's another, and autumn purple is interesting because it looks so different on different things. So this is on a white clay, and this is autumn purple. How pretty. Like, there's nothing else in there, just autumn purple. I mean, look at the flecks. Wowza. And like the run. The outside is my studio blue to about here, and then autumn purple slightly overlapping. Look at that nice strippage you're getting. So I think I might do a mug or two in this combo. I really like that. This is on the dark clay, and this is Sangria, Spectrum Sangria, which I got a few little spots in there, but I'm not sure what that is, but it still looks fine. And then the outside would be my Studio Cranberry with the Sangria just overlapping a tiny bit. So that's really pretty. Here's a soap holder. So this one is Winterwood, and then slightly overlapped with, this is Spectrum Soft Aqua. So I loved the soft red so much that I thought I am going to try the soft aqua and the soft blue. And that is so pretty. Isn't that sweet? Anyway, use more of that. And here is another soap holder. And this one is a slanted dip, or just white inside. Slanted dip in my Studio Blue, a slanted dip in my Studio Green with just a little band in between. And then I did a couple of coats of Winterwood, just dabbed it. And then a little coat of flux over that to get that. That's pretty. I know those of you have been following me know that this is a common glaze combo for me, but it is so, so pretty. This is called Mystic Lake, and I dip it in my Studio Blue to here my Val's turquoise to here. Then I do a kind of a wavy band of olive float. And my olive float is really thick. So I just do like one thick gobby coat. And then I put a band of flux just meeting the olive float on the rim. And you get this. And really, like if you had a dark blue Celadon, that would work perfectly. And if you had a turquoise, textured turquoise or something like that, I think that would be really pretty too. So it doesn't have to be studio glazes to get a similar effect. Plus, you want it to be yours anyway, right? This is a big Whomper mug, and this is on white clay. So I do this this combo actually on white clay and on dark clay, and I get two different sort of looks, more muted on the other one. And I call this PEI, which is Prince Edward Island Heritage Road. So we have some amazing heritage roads on our province, and they have no electricity on them, and they're called heritage roads because they're protected. And there's usually these huge canopies of trees over them, and we have red dirt roads on PEI. We have red dirt. Our soil has got a high iron content, so it's very red. So this is my ode to that, which is like the bright, this would be like on a, you know, a wet morning with the green canopy overhead. And then the one I do on the darker clay is a more muted orange. And this is Amico, Sienna, and Amico all the way to the top. 3 good coats. And this is a band of Amico seaweed. So that's pretty. Okay, so I got a few new Spectrum glazes to try, and one of them is this cactus. Spectrum cactus is one of their floating glazes, and wowza, that's a dark clay. And look how that green, because I know that for those of you that use green, green can really get really muted on a darker clay. Like I have a green, like the green on this soap dispenser is sort of a light, vibrant green. When I put that on dark clay, I call it vintage green when it's on my dark clay because it gets really dark and muted. But this cactus, wow, that is just holding its color beautifully. Wowza, that is very nice. And this is Spectrum Pearl White, which is so pretty, especially on dark clay because it gets, you get tones of blues and purples coming through. It's a lovely glaze. I do have the occasional pinhole with it, but you know what? It refires really well. So that's a good thing. Oh, was excited to show you guys this too. So this little bowl is on white clay, and it's got just alabaster dipped to about here. The inside, I don't know if I could show you how pretty this is. The camera's probably not going to pick it up, but the inside up to about here is Spectrum Soft Blue. So remember I was talking about that soft red. Well, this is the soft blue, and then the lip is Spectrum Soft Aqua. Look at that. The outside is just the soft aqua over the alabaster, but wowza. That is pretty. Really like that. Okay, the one glaze I tried from Spectrum, the floating glaze that I didn't love, Audrey Lynn has used it. If you follow Audrey Lynn, she uses a lot of the Spectrum glazes too. Hi, Audrey. And she did some gorgeous pieces with the floating blue from Spectrum. And I don't know, Audrey, if you did it on white clay or dark clay, but I did this on darker clay, and it's just not quite. I think what I really need to do is use it on texture. And the only texture I have going here is the spin, because I think the blue, where it's thick, will lie in the texture, and we can see that in the spiral. So I think I would save this for texture, and I also want to try it on white to see how it looks. So the outside, this is my studio green. This is what I'm talking about, how in dark clay it becomes, I call it vintage green. And then it's just a little bit of the floating blue over that. So there's that one. I love sangria. It is one of my favorites. So this is just a little dish in sangria. And you know, I'm not really a pink girl, but I hesitate to call it pink. It is pink, but it's pink and it's burgundy and it's, you know, just different. It's more complex than that. So, and I make lots of pink, even though I'm not a huge pink girl, because people love pink, and you have to make sometimes what people love, not what you always love. So this one is, I call these cheese ball dishes. I sell a ton of them. I go to my local farmer's market and I get these little wooden pate knives from a local maker who sells them really reasonably. And I just add those to the cheese ball bowl, and I sell a ton of them. And so this is just my studio Cranberry, which is a Pottery Supply House glaze. I got a lot of questions about it. I got it years and years ago. I don't know what it's called because it was so long ago, but I think it might be their dark wine or red wine in-house glaze. It's one of their in-house glazes, and it's really reasonable, and that bucket has lasted me a long time. But I don't know if you guys are noticing, but burgundy is getting huge again. Like burgundy kind of fell out of fashion for a while, but it's coming back big time, both in fashion and also in household stuff. So those of you who have burgundy glazes, let her rip. So this is, I call it cranberry, but it's burgundy tones. So it's cranberry on the outside to here, then it's sangria to there, and then sangria inside. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. So here are a few more of the floating blues. So this one has a little more blue in it with the green outside. And another cheese ball dish with, this one has dark blue with the floating blue over it. My studio blue. Just a little bowl in pearl white. Pretty, pretty. And this one is my cranberry with the sangria over the lip and just a white liner glaze. So they got a little lighter there, so I might have not held my dip long enough, or I might have been due to stir the bucket. Who knows? You can see I was on a cranberry tangent, and this is the sangria with this cranberry again. And these are just little mini vases that I make for the holidays for my sales, and then I just fill them with like cedar and pine and red berries. And it's something you could put at the table that doesn't cost a fortune, but people can take it and bring it somewhere with them as a little hostess gift or whatever. So I sell a lot of those, and I thought that was a very festive color. I won't show you all the PEI Girl mugs, but I'll show you a few. These have turned out to be so popular. So PEI is Prince Edward Island, where we live. And people love to have things that associate with home. A lot of them are sent away at Christmas time, I think. So the top is cranberry. At first it's winterwood, then it's cranberry and white inside. And just a reminder, I usually will dip this in alabaster first, which is the base of winterwood, and then I just put one coat of winterwood because I don't like a lot of the flecks, and it saves a lot of time. So that's what I do with that. And the last one, which is the same glaze combo, this is kind of cute. It says Queen of the Camper. So we have a place on Prince Edward Island. We obviously, we're an island, so we have the ocean around us. And it's a campground. It's called Twin Shores. And in the summertime, it is the third largest city/town in PEI. We're a small province anyway. I think our total population is like 160 or 140,000. But Charlottetown is our capital. I don't know how many people live there. Summerside, where I live, would be the second biggest town. And this campground is the third biggest town in the summertime on PEI. It's like Disneyland for campers. It's amazing. Anyway, a lot of campers on PEI. My daughter was one of them this summer. She became a diehard fan. So anyway, I thought these are kind of fun for those diehard campers that they're not campers. They're like homes away from home. They're beautiful, most of them. But anyway, so I'm so much happier that my glaze kiln worked this time. My son is my hero. And I'll have hopefully a few more glaze firings. I haven't been on in a while. I don't know how you guys do it. Those of you that are doing sales and doing like kiln openings on camera, like I'm usually just running out the door. I'm emptying the kiln and I'm running out the door. I'm like, I got no time to do a glaze opening, but I'm going to try to be better. Now that my kiln's working again. So I will see you soon. I have a glaze kiln to start probably the next few days, so I'll be back. All right, take care, everyone.